This is a step-by-step guide of what to do, what to eat, and how to live your life as a teenager in order to get jacked. This is the #1 best diet for you. The best diet is not having a specific diet. Now let me explain. Once you're on a specific diet for the rest of your life, that's not very maintainable. Like, you can't do keto for the rest of your life. You can't do carnivore where you're only eating meat, no carbs, no vegetables for the rest of your life. That's just not gonna work. You're gonna eventually fail the diet, and then you're gonna eventually reset like the gym streak. You're gonna gain some extra body fat that you don't need, and that's not gonna end well. That's not a maintainable diet that, oh yeah, I can maintain for the rest of my life easy. You have to put in discipline and hard work, but most of the time, especially with your diet, those things eventually come to a crash and they don't work out. So what exactly is the best diet for us? A diet that actually will work. And what is this diet? This diet accentuates high protein foods, yet low sugars, like processed food, like Twinkies, like brownies, like cookies, like cake, like chocolate. Those are the foods that will actually give us fat, that will actually not help us in the long run. But for us as teenagers right now, it is easy for us to burn more calories because of how fast and how much our bodies are changing because of the rising hormones and this and that and puberty. It's the easiest time to 1, build an aesthetic physique, and 2, change your life forever. Now, there are 2 terms that I must help you with. There is this term called caloric deficit and a caloric surplus. A caloric deficit is for when you want to cut down on size. Let's say you're pretty fat, you want to get shredded, you want to stay lean, you need to go on a caloric deficit. That just means eating less than your maintenance calories. An average teenage male needs around 2,300 to 2,500 calories a day. If you're actually fat, flabby and everything, and you have a lot of face fat and people call you fat, then you need to go on a cut. There's this other term called the caloric surplus. Now that basically means eating more than what you need. So you need like 2,300 to 2,500, you gotta eat maybe 2,700, 2,800 even. Now, why would you go on a caloric surplus? Let's say you're skinny and you want to start gaining muscle, you want to start gaining weight because people are saying, look at him, he's a stick, he's skinny. Eat a lot of high protein, healthy foods. Now, what is protein? Where can protein be found? Protein is a molecule inside mostly meats and some vegetables that will help you with muscle growth. Now, when you work out, let's say you're doing bicep curls, when you work out, you are tearing the muscle fibers inside of your muscle. And if you don't replenish it with protein, protein is the molecule that actually helps build up the muscle. If you don't supply your body with enough nutrients, then you're not going to grow any muscle, you're going to stay fat, you're going to stay skinny, and that's why you won't make progress. Now, there are multiple components of a healthy meal. These are the 5 components of a healthy meal that every teenager's plate should have if they want to have a good life and they want to have a good physique. Protein. That can be found in red meats, that can be found in chicken, in pork, and fish. Quinoa, there's some protein in quinoa. It can also be found in some plants. You can do your own research. I like to eat steaks and I like to eat chicken, so that's my main source of protein. There are carbs. Carbs make us feel fuller for longer, allowing us to accentuate more energy for a more longer period of time. And especially if you're on bulk, eating a lot of carbs is actually healthy, but it must be healthy carbs. Now, there are 2 types of carbs. There are simple carbs and complex carbs. Simple carbs is what you can relate to sugar, like pure granulated sugar, like you buy in the store, sugar here. That is simple sugars. Where can simple sugars be found? In donuts and cookies and cakes and chocolate. Those are granulated sugars, and those are the sugars that you should avoid. There's a lot of those kinds of sugar inside of sodas, inside of Gatorades. Now, you should eliminate those from your diet. But the complex carbs are what should stay. People on the internet say, you can't eat carbs and carbs are really bad for you. No, they're not. If you're eating the right carbs, the right amount of carbs, you should not eliminate that from your diet. If you're trying to bulk, absolutely eat as much carbs as possible, but also eat a lot of protein so you're not just eating a lot of carbs. And if you're on a cut, still eat carbs. Still eat carbs if you're on a cut, but healthy carbs, and cut that into a minimal portion. Now, what are some healthy carbs? Brown rice, whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta. Now, I'm sure a lot of people say, they taste disgusting. Yeah, they kind of do. They really do. But would you rather, you staying fat or you staying skinny, or you want to be jacked and you want to be healthy? I would go for the healthier choice. But if you really can't do brown rice like me, I would suggest long grain or white rice, especially basmati rice and jasmine rice. Because the reason why long grain white rice is healthier than normal white rice is because there's not as much starch content inside of the actual rice. So it's healthier. After carbs, you have vegetables. And you might say, ew, vegetables are kind of nasty and I don't like the taste of vegetables. It's probably because you haven't had right vegetables. Your mom's just probably boiled some carrots and put it on the table and you're like, oh, here kids. So what do you do in order to make actually good vegetables? Get a saute pan, put some olive oil, you'll get your vegetables of choice. Maybe it's carrots, maybe it's bell peppers, and maybe it's broccoli. Put it in the pan, put salt, pepper, some garlic powder, some onion powder, maybe a little bit of soy sauce, and boom, you got good vegetables. Or maybe instead of soy sauce, you put amino acids. Those are delicious. Now that is a good plate of vegetables. Vegetables can be good, and they are so good if you make them right, but you probably haven't had them right. That's probably why you don't like it. And my final segment of a good healthy plate are healthy fats. Now fats can be separated into two categories. Again, processed fat, like you can find in bacon, like really fatty meats, and that kind of fat can be actually healthy at times, like a big piece of fatty steak, like that can be really good for testosterone, like healthy fats. But the fats you want to avoid are like frying oil. Like when you fry some fried chicken, the reason why it's unhealthy is because it's fried in oil. And that oil often is not very healthy because it's very fattening. What are good sources of healthy fats? Olive oil, avocados, and a really good source of protein and healthy fats is salmon. There's a lot of healthy fats and there's a lot of omega-3 acids inside of salmon, along with how much protein is in salmon. If you like salmon, you are the GOAT because of how much protein is in a pretty small piece and how much healthy fats are in a small piece. This doesn't mean to just only eat salmon all day, every day. But I'm just saying salmon is a really good way to get those two parts in. Now, you might be wondering, oh, is there any other sources of protein other than just like steak and chicken and pork and other things? Absolutely. One of my favorite sources of protein, other than like meats, is Greek yogurt. Now you might be disgusted by that. You might hate the taste of Greek yogurt. Try these Greek yogurts called Oikos. They have 15 grams of protein for like a little cup like that, and it is delicious. It's so good. And there's another one, I think it's called Giuplani or something. It looks like this, and it's so good. Just put some Nature Valley protein granola in there, mix it around, add some fruits and berries, eat it. Alright, but then there comes the question, can I even eat sugar? For me, a few months ago, I was never eating sugar. Like, I avoided lemonade, I avoided orange juice, things like a protein bar because it had sugar. I was trying to eliminate sugar from my diet 100% until I realized a few things. One, we're teenagers, we're just kids. And kids, like right now, during these periods of our lives, we have the fastest metabolism ever. So we can afford the sugar, at least some sugar. Now, it doesn't mean to completely eat cake and eat cookies all day. Definitely don't do that. It's okay to eat sugar every once in a while. It's not going to kill you. Like a little piece of baby cake every 2-3 weeks. That's not gonna kill you. A little piece of dark chocolate every day with some tea, that's not gonna kill you. A lot of fitness YouTubers say, oh, you need to avoid sugar at all costs. They're talking to adults. They're not talking to us. Obviously, don't go over the wagon eating like 50, 60, 70 grams of sugar every day, because that's obviously fucked up. But just minimize your sugar consumption. Read the food labels on the back of the packages. See how much sugar is in it. If it's like a cookie, probably don't eat it. If it's a protein bar, but it actually has a pretty decent amount of protein, pretty low amount of sugar, or high amount of sugar, a high amount of protein, I would say that's kind of worth it because it has a lot of more protein. Whereas if you're eating a little chocolate bar, there's like 3 grams of protein for the same amount of sugar. Look at it this way. If it's your grandma's birthday or your baby cousin's birthday, and you're like, no, I'm not gonna eat any cake because I'm on a diet. People are gonna think you're fucked up in the head, bro. You're only a teenager. We can quote unquote afford the sugar, especially if you're training. If you're training, then that doesn't even matter at all, unless you're like fat and you're trying to cut down. Still, even then, every once a month, you can have a freaking piece of cake. Stop being a jerk. Eat your baby cousin's birthday cake at the party. And it's okay to eat a few grams of sugar. Now, you might be like completely turned off by what I'm saying, but I am just trying to drill into your head a better way of viewing things. Instead of saying, oh, I'm never gonna drink sugar ever again, to minimize the sugar consumption. But honestly, the only reason why you have a lot of sugar consumption, you probably aren't eating cookies every day. You're probably not even eating cake every week. You're probably not even eating Twinkies. But why are you still like fat? Because of the drinks that you drink. For me, I personally only drink water. Well, mostly drink water most of the time. So I mostly only drink water as one of the main source of liquids, right? Why? Because there are so much sugar inside of drinks nowadays. An average 8-ounce glass of lemonade probably has over 15 grams of sugar. So the main sources of sugar are in your drinks. Let's do some quick maths. So let's say an average drink has 30 grams of sugar, 20 grams of sugar, right? Let's say on average you have 3 of those every day, 1 for each meal. That's 60 to 90 grams of sugar each day just from the drinks. Just from the drinks. Along with your shit diet that you probably have right now, you wonder why you're fat. You're eating cookies and you're drinking 3 Cokes, 3 glasses of lemonade every single fucking day. You wonder why you're fat. Cut out the sugar from the drinks. Just drink water. It's not that hard. Sure, it's gonna be hard in the initial like 2 weeks because like, I want some sugar. But after a while, you will adjust to the water. You will adjust to drinking water, and your life will completely change. Your body will completely change, and your mind won't be fogged up with 1,000 thoughts because your mind is clear because you're drinking and eating healthy freaking foods. If this video helped you in any way, please like, subscribe so I can tell my 5,000 subscribers. My 5,000 subscriber goal. The dog we're gonna see later. As always, guys.